Every minute, 20 people become victims of domestic violence. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced intimate partner abuse. 7 million children live in families where severe partner violence occurs. But survival is possible. These are their stories.
He grabs the extension cord and ties my hands and my feet up. I remember him saying, "I'm gonna kill you since you don't wanna be with me."
One day he pushed me down the stairs and I didn't roll all the way down. And so he just kicked my head right through the wall. Definitely hard, still being here. There are reminders everywhere.
The moment that I realized that this might not be the person that I thought he was the first time that he hit me. Then it came the cigarettes being burnt on you, as well as the spitting in the face. I was with him for over 10 years. Yeah, I was with him for over 10 years.
I grew up in Florence, South Carolina. I come from a huge country family. After high school, I got pregnant my senior year. Life was just kind of everywhere. Like, I didn't have a job, I was homeless. However, the wind blew was kind of where I was going. I always wanted my kids to have both parents. So me and my kid's father had gotten back together. We were trying to fix things. It was supposed to be like the fairy tale. And in the midst of that, there was cheating, there was a lot of arguing, it was just not a good situation. And I said, I never want to be with you again. Like, I'm just tired. And at that point, he like choked me. In my mind, I'm thinking like, oh my God, like, I'm really gonna die. Like, this is really going to be it for me. And I asked him if I could just stay back to the girls. And he let them come in the room and he told me, like, I'm gonna untie you. And if you scream, I'm gonna kill you in front of them. And I told him that I love them and that I'm sorry. So I just asked God to like keep my kids, and I asked him to just let them know that I tried everything I could to make it work, and I'm sorry, and they didn't deserve this. He had his hands around my neck and he was trying to choke me, and every time I prayed, he stopped. It was almost like a light bulb, like something snapped in his head, and he was like, I'm sorry. And I took off running. And I ran through the apartment complex, through the neighborhood, screaming, help me. And he's running after me with my son in his hands. And a police officer comes outside. He was off duty. He called for backup. He says, let her go. And he doesn't. And he is dragging me like back to the house. And the sheriffs came and arrested him.
I was born in Croton-on-Hudson in New York, and I moved around a lot, but ended up in New Jersey. Growing up, I was really athletic. I played a lot of sports. I was really a very active kid, and that stayed with me all through high school. He was my best friend. And in the beginning, everything was fine. And then he had been with somebody else. So I approached him and I held up my phone with the picture of the two of them hanging out. And I just shook my head and I said, you know what? I need to go for a walk. I almost made it. I got probably as far as my hand on the door. And then I heard him run down the stairs. So as I reached out for the door handle, he grabbed me by my hair and he pulled me back and he threw me on the floor. And he started kicking me. I couldn't really breathe. He didn't stop. It didn't take long before it had started to move from my body to my face. I had black eyes, busted lips at work on a regular basis. He told me that I was disgusting. That was when the abuse started, not just physically, but the verbal abuse. And after that, that's when I started to track where I was and what I was doing. Anything could set him off. People don't understand when he would say to me, "I will kill you and so will help me hide the body," he wasn't kidding.
I grew up in Flint, Michigan. I moved out at 17 and was still in high school. There was parts of me that wanted to see what things were like on the other side, as we say, the other side of the tracks. When my son was 6 years old, I got into a relationship. I thought this was the love of my life, that he is the one. For the first 2, almost 3 years, they were wonderful. I was getting roses. I was getting roses every other day. We were enjoying life until everything went dark. So we fast forward, and you know, when you look at my situation, you fast forward into months, and the months turn into years, and the years turn into more years. And it doesn't stop, it doesn't change. There were days that I walked in, and I might have a gun that's facing me, and being told that this is the last day you're gonna live, and being told how ugly I am, and nobody wants you. I was about 110 pounds heavier than what I am right now. Food became my friend. I couldn't have friends. I couldn't have relationships. So I ate, and I ate, and I ate more to comfort myself. I got so good at putting on an act that it was just crazy. Towards the end, my mother, having experienced abuse herself, she did recognize the signs. Without even saying anything, I just broke down and cried.
I am writing a book called The Road to Redemption about how I was able to get to the light at the end of my tunnel. Because when you're in a storm, you can't see the end of it. There's so many people like me that are out there that didn't have a shoulder to cry on or even felt comfortable enough to tell anybody about what happened with them. If I have to do this to save somebody's daughter or sister or mom, I'll do it 1,000,000 times.
I was incredibly embarrassed about the entire situation. You know, I'm the girl it would never happen to. I was always so strong. My mom will tell you stories for days. When somebody's abusing you, they take so much from you. And when they tell you, admit that you're awful, admit you're this disgusting thing, sometimes all you have left is to say no. No, it's not true, and I'm not gonna say it. And in the moment, the consequences of what happens next are worth it, because that's one thing that he couldn't take. That was the push that I needed, and I got out. I have an incredible appreciation now for every single day. every morning that I wake up, I don't have to worry that it's my last day. Like, every day is amazing. And just being outside helps me just connect with that and appreciate the moment. Just know that when you're ready, you are capable of giving yourself an amazing life. And there will come a time when all of this will just be a painful memory, because you're going to get through it.
It took another year for me to gain the strength to get out. But I knew at that time, for me, it was time. And I knew I'm going to be okay. I am going to be okay. I went back into that home and I stood there and I looked at him while he was sitting on the couch, and he looked at me and I said, I'm leaving. I am leaving. You can have everything. And I dropped the keys and I left. It's been about 4 years. My son and I sat down during a candid conversation and we filmed a video. And in that video, we were discussing my weight, and I discussed how if I were able to lose the weight, I would love to skydive and experience that total sense of freedom. Everything that I've been through in life, from the abuse to the homelessness, this right here is just closing the chapter and really saying, I am free. We can survive, and we can overcome, and we can have that beautiful life that we want.
Domestic violence can happen to anyone. Your neighbor, your best friend, even your coworker.
Work was my sanctuary. It was the place where I could go to be safe.
Verizon is like a family. V2V was there for me 100%.
They look at me as a person and they ensure that I am okay, and that through my surviving, that I was going to be successful.
Our hero.
Group hug.
Here we go.